I'm Professor Rad, and in this video, we'll be talking once again about rounding. In our last video, we did some rounding by finding the number that was closer to the desired nice number that we were rounding to. In this video, we're going to talk about a process to help us round. So if finding closer worked nice for you, then you can use that method. But if it didn't, this is an alternative. This kind of gives you step-by-step what to do to round. And this may be the way that you remember from your past about how to round. So I have here our method for the rounding process, and then the same example we did in the last video. So we can apply this process and see that we'll end up getting the same answer either way. So if you want to pause the video here and copy down the note in the example, now would be a good time to do that. Okay, so let's talk about this process a little bit. So the rounding process, first what you want to do is underline the digit in the desired place value, because we're going to be making reference to that digit a lot. So we're going to have that digit we're rounding to, and then things will happen to the left, things will happen to the right, and things will happen to that digit. So underlining it helps us to identify where we're rounding to and like the digit of importance, I guess. Then you're going to look at the digit immediately to the right of the one you just underlined. And if the one that to the right of the one we underlined is smaller than 5, you're going to keep that underlined digit the same. And this is sometimes referred to as rounding down. If the digit to the right is 5 or bigger, then we're going to add 1 to that digit we underlined. And this is sometimes called rounding up. Then everything to the left stays the same, unless you have 9, but we'll get to that in the future. And then everything to the right is going to turn into a 0. So we're going to round 19,453,561 to the nearest 10 million and to the nearest million. And we're going to apply this rounding process so we can see it in action. So to round this number to the nearest 10 million, first we have to underline the digit in the 10 millions place. So just a reminder, this is the ones period, this is the thousands, and this is the millions. And then remember, within each period, you count 1, 10, 100. So this is 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million. So we're interested in the 10 millions place, so I'm going to underline the digit in the 10 millions place. Now for step 2, I'm going to look at the digit immediately to the right, and this is a 9. So 9 is 4 or more, so we're going to round up. So we have to add a 1 to this underlined digit. So this 1 is going to turn into a 2 because it's rounding up. Then for step 3, we keep digits to the left. Well, there is nobody to the left of the 1, so we ignore that piece. And we turn all the digits to the right into zeros. So the 9 turns into a 0, 4, 5, 3, 5, 6, 1. So everything that was to the right is going to turn into a 0. So 19,453,561 rounded to the nearest 10 million is going to give us 20 million. And this is the same value we found before, because if we're looking between 10 million and 20 million, 19 million is closer to 20 million. So this fits with our finding whatever is closer. And in the last video, I mentioned that when you're finding what's closer, you kind of divide things in halves. Halfway through is usually with a 5, because half of 10 is 5. So that's why here you have 5 or more, or smaller than 5. 5 is kind of where we look to determine whether we round up or down, because that's our halfway point. So this process comes from looking at what's closer. It just it prescribes steps for us, so it's kind of easier for us to follow a procedure each time. So let's look at part B. I'm going to erase my underlining because now we're looking at a different place value. So now we're going to round to the nearest million. So we have ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. So in the millions place, we now have this digit 9. So I've underlined the digit in the desired place value in the millions place. And now I look to the digit to the right. Now this time the digit immediately to the right is a 4, and 4 is smaller than 5. So that means I'm going to keep this 9 the same. So I keep the underlined digit, I keep the 9. Then I'm going to keep digits to the left. So this time we have a 1 here, so I'm going to keep a 1 here. And then turn digits to the right into zeros. So the 4, 5, 3, 5, 6, 1, each become zeros. So 19,453,561, when I round that to the nearest million, is going to turn into 19 million. And this was because 19,453,561 is closer to 19 million than it is to 20 million. All right, so that's our example for the rounding process. In the next video, I'm going to work through another example that's a little bit trickier. It's going to have a situation where the rules might bend a little bit, and we'll apply both methods to that situation. So again, you can try and decide which you like better, the method of finding which is closer or the method of just following this process. So I'm looking forward to seeing you for that example in the next video. In the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic day, and yeah, bye for now.